How's everybody doing? My name is Kayvon Young-Reaves. I am a information technology, information systems double major from Charleston, South Carolina. Um, I graduate in December and will be moving to Nashville. I just wanted to show y'all my GitHub, just in case y'all want to go follow me or go to, I have a few, not all the way there yet, but I'm getting there. Here's my GitHub. The name of my project or repo is called Greek Unity. I would recommend going to my feature slash server setup. It has all of my most recent files. My master branch is a little wonky right now. I'm working with that, and and I'll probably fix that later. But let me give y'all a little bit of a tour. As I said before, my project's name is Greek Unity. I got this from the idea of unifying different Greek organizations here at Coastal Carolina University. I also want others to be able to go on this website and learn a little bit about our organizations. I am in a Greek organization, also known as Alpha for Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Um, but really, I just wanted to be a quick little tool for freshmen or anyone really learning about Greek organizations, and really wanted to just get their feet wet in the knowledge. Um, but yeah, so as you can see here, I have to make a commit, but I'll do that later. As you can see here, I have a basic file structure, um, my public, my resource file, my getignore, index, package.json, and my readme. If you go to my readme, you'll see that you do have to use npm install to install my happy module, bootstrap, inert, and nodemon path modules. Um, and for the future, I would love to include, a better server. I'm using Happy right now, but maybe there's a better server out there that I can use to host my entire web page. Um, Also a working database, preferably MongoDB because I haven't used it, but I'll probably be using MySQL to store my users, and then a little bit of a joy validation, which is also a part of Happy. So I probably might stick with a Happy server just because I like using joy validation. I've used it before. It's very easy. And then a chat box for members. Oh, a little typo right here, for members to communicate between one another. All these are hopefully future developments. But right now, it's basically a gallery of my NPHC members, and the animals that they're associated with, and you can also see a quick little bio of the organization. But yes, so as I said before, I have my public structure. This has my CSS and my HTML. We can start with CSS. Here's my first style sheet. CSS is very difficult to relearn. I've learned it before, but like my freshman year, HTML as well. Never really used it. Never really had to use it other than to create basic web pages. But usually, I would probably lean towards more using React, React Native, and mobile development, just because it's easier and it's more robust in my opinion. HTML and CSS are just you kind of have to really be patient with it, as I did. That's why it took me roughly around I would say 12. I added a few more things, but 12 hours to finish this, and I still uh, have a lot more I want to do with it. But beyond that, as you can see here, I'm using a image from Unsplash. Unsplash is a website where you can get high quality photos for use of any kind. You can, use it as your background or images. They're really nice photos. You'll see. But I'm using that as my background, or this image is my background. You'll see that later. And fun thing I learned about this font family um, property right here is that if a browser does not have impact, it will go down the line of different fonts that it can use. I chose these just because these are the ones I use the most on when I do Word. Of course, you can see my H1A body dot box model, my dot form button, and footer. All of these are, of course, normal CSS selectors that we learned back in the day. If you don't know more about that, I would go to W3 schools. You'll learn a lot about it. I use that as my primary resource. They're pretty good at helping out with learning new things about, especially coding languages. Um, but yeah, going into my second style sheet for my homepage, and style sheet for one is for my sign in. Style sheet two is for my homepage. I'll show you all that later. Kind of the same structure. Here in my container, I'm using flex wraps for my images just to help keep my images all in one. I didn't want to get into CSS grid, even though it's very useful, but I use flex wrap just because uh, it worked for me at the time, so I'm not going to complain with that. Um, and then I'll show you my HTML. So basically, I have these files right here, the ones that really work on my homepage and my sign in. My homepage has, welcome to NPHC community, your NPHC community, and a few images in link tags, just so you can be able to click on the images. I have a password recovery, register, and username recovery, which are all under construction. And my sign in right here is just a simple form, and linking to these other files right here. Nothing too major. But relearning HTML and CSS was a journey, I must say. Here I have just a little bit of information on each organization in an H1 with a paragraph tag. Just useful information about the organization. I've done that for all of these. Nothing too special here. Here's my resource folder with all the images I used. My get ignore, of course, ignore your package lock.json and your node modules so you don't commit 5,000 files or 5K plus files. And then here my index.js is, which I'm very happy to show y'all. Get it? Happy to show y'all. But yeah, here's where I require my modules, and I put it in a async function. Just basically allows my my code to run without worrying about interruptions. And even if I do run into an interruption, it'll catch it right down here. But here's where I initialize or create my server. Basically creating my server, specifying which port I'm using, and telling my server where to find my directory. That's why I use the path.join up here. Basically allows me to use a relative path name. Also, here's where my I have to register my inert. Inert basically allows me to read static files. Down here is my route. My route is basically going to allow me to